Hello my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Miranda and I am the Enchantress of Avalon. So as you have seen from today's title, we are going to be discussing the Ace of Cups tarot card, its energies, and how we can work with this energy in our lives and what it relates to in our lives. But before that, I want to give my normal updates at the beginning of the video, which is my reminder that as well as this YouTube channel, I also have a website, whiteroseofavalon.life, where I have a blog that is updated daily with new content, similar to what I post here, only in written form. And I also provide tarot reading services, mentoring sessions, and online classes through that website. If you want to check it out, it's always linked in the description box below. And I have a Patreon, Avalonian Rose Fairy Mysteries, where it functions as essentially a fairy mystery school and mystery community. I do blog posts, I do meditations over there. And if you're at my top 2 tiers, I do monthly tarot readings, individual tarot readings at the full moon. So if any of that sounds interesting, you can go and pop over to Avalonian Rose Fairy Mysteries. It's also linked down below. Oh, and I also have, if you don't want to be a member, you can purchase individually some journal prompts that I have on my shop on my Patreon. So all that good stuff is available to you if you would like to see more of my content or even help support me in that way. And I would be much appreciated. And thank you for listening to my little spiel. And with that, let's get into the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is one of my favorite minor arcana tarot cards. I love the energy of this card because it is so positive. It is one of the most positive cards in the entire deck. I always tell people when any ace comes up, it's a very positive sign. It's all about new beginnings when an ace comes up in your reading. But the Ace of Cups in particular, I think is the most positive of those ace cards because it's about emotional well-being. Okay, I actually have with me, right next to me, my favorite Ace of Cups card. This is from the Le Tarot Arthurienne, which is written by Claire Duval and illustrated by Anna Torian. So Anna Torian did this amazing illustration. It's gorgeous, and you can see it's a French deck, so Ace de Coupe is what it's called in this deck. And actually this image is on the cover of the deck itself because it is so gorgeous. Although I love the card more because in the cover of the deck, it's black, so you don't have this beautiful rainbow effect on top. And I think that this emotionally resonates with what I think of when I think of the Ace of Cups. The overflow. That is what the Ace of Cups really is to me, is that overflow of joy, overflow of positive emotions. It's often considered a good card to gain. It's a message of positive tidings, of positive omens coming forth in your life. It's a card associated with fertility, abundance, prosperity, with also possibly announcing a pregnancy or a birth of a child. It's birthing new things, new positive, joyful things in your emotional life. That's why a lot of people associate it with pregnancy or childbirth, the expanse of the family. And it works really well to read it that way when you think of the 10 of Cups being feeling joy and contentment in your home life and emotional joy and contentment in your home life. The whole idea of having this associated with possibly the birth of a child makes so much sense. And every time I see this card, I feel this bubbling up of joy inside of me because it is such a positive card. It is such a joyful card. I'm going to set the card down itself now, but it is so beautifully positive in its meaning that I think this card is an important archetype to look into when we want to do anything revolving around self-care and self-love. And not just in the, I want to, take better care of myself and not be so critical of myself way. It is that too, of course, but on a more simple level of self-care. And I think this resonates with me as a woman, and I think it resonates with other women too, because I've heard other women talk about it. But as women especially, men get this too, but it's a little bit different. Women, it's more of an emotional thing. Men, it's more of a responsibility to, financially provide. But feeling like you need to always be giving of yourself and sacrificing of your energy. With men, it's their energy to time, provide money, and therefore sacrificing energy in a more physical way, because the masculine is that physical outward momentum. For women, it's the internal. So pouring from your internal cup, right, to emotionally provide and emotionally nurture those around you. And I guess this could be true of also like just anyone who's more feminine versus anyone who's more masculine. But it's this whole idea that, oh, we have to always be willing and ready to nurture, to provide, to pour forth this empathy and compassion. However, not enough people talk about the fact that in order to do this, we need to fill our cups first so that they're overflowing. The overflow. That's what allows us to actually pour. You cannot pour from an empty cup or an empty chalice. There's nothing to come from that. You need to do the self-care, the self-nurturance first. And then that allows you to have an abundance, an overflow of this emotional, positive energy to pour forth to others. And I think it's so important to discuss this because, like I said, I do not think it's discussed enough. The idea of sacrificing and of energetically supporting others or financially supporting others in a more outward way, it's talked about, like making sacrifices for your children, making sacrifices for your spouse or other loved ones. Do not be selfish. That is, talked about. And it's part of, your growth as a person, and it's part of your maturity as a person to be able to take on that role. Women's take on like a more motherly role, men's take on a more fatherly role. That's whether you're actually a parent at all, it's part of our growth into adulthood. That is talked about. But we so often ignore how to do that in a healthy way. And I see so many people who are making these sacrifices, running themselves ragged so that it's detrimental to their well-being, their health, their mental health. And what's coming out of it? Like, sure, they probably are able to do things for their loved ones, but the cost is so high. And if you run yourself into the ground, who's going to take care of those people you're trying to take care of? There won't be someone to take care of them now, will there? We need to learn to prioritize our own self-care and self-love to fill our cup first. Then we can pour, and we have this excess of energy to give forth into this. And how you do this, how you fill your cup, is going to be a little bit different depending on the person. It could be something as simple as, oh, for me, I just really need to make sure I meditate for 20 minutes a day. Another person, it might be, Oh, I just really like to take a quiet walk by myself in the morning after I get the kids off to school, if you have children, for instance. But for a third person, maybe it's just music, playing certain music and letting yourself be absorbed in that music for a time. These are all great ways to fill your cup. And I do want to share a little bit of how I do this. Personally, I have, over the course of several years, developed my own morning rituals and routines that really help provide me this energy of filling my cup, taking time for myself in the morning. I find that this is the best time. You get up and are going about those times of just doing the little things that are caring for yourself. Like, okay, we wake up, we brew a pot of coffee, we, brush our teeth and what have you, like basic things you do in the morning. But I add on magical and spiritual elements to this. I enchant the water I drink in the morning because I always drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Well, I drink a lot of water throughout the day. Very watery person with all of that, water energy just within me. I feel that I get thirsty really easily, so I tend to make sure I always have a bottle of water near me. But besides having the water, it's about that first glass of water in the morning so that you're hydrating after you've been sleeping. You need to hydrate once you've woken up. But I enchant that. I sing to my water. And then I'm imbibing that intention, that positivity, and that enchanted energy that I've put forth into the water. Then I do my morning devotionals to my fairy queen goddesses, to whom I am a priestess. I always do that every single morning. I will do my tarot readings for myself and my journaling in the morning because I like to journal daily. And I've been journaling actively since I was, I think, 7 or 8 years old. So I have decades worth of journals that are just, most of them are tucked away. My older ones from my childhood and adolescence, they're in a closet. But the ones from the last 4.5 years, I do have access to. And those do include all of my tarot work, as well as my journaling, where I'm recording all of this and I can see patterns. I can see patterns in what cards came up, what happened the next day, because I'm journaling in the morning, so I'm journaling about the previous day. And you can see where the cards are right, and you can see these patterns that keep coming up, and you can see where events are repeating through this. Of course, I've been reading tarot actively for over a decade, but I didn't actively record it every single day until 4.5 years ago. That's when I started recording all of my readings. And I find it so beneficial. And it's like having that internal time, that internal dialogue going on with myself every single morning. And it's just so soothing. I will sip on my morning cup of coffee and I'll just write and write and write, get it all out. And do my tarot work and see what the cards need to tell me, what my spiritual team needs to tell me in the morning. And then I do morning yoga. I've been doing yoga for over 2 decades because I started when I was only a kid, and I adore it. I love it. So I make sure that I get my body moving. It's very meditative and nurturing as well. And I feel so much peace when I do all of this. And then oftentimes after that, I might brew myself a cup of tea. I might get myself some breakfast if I'm feeling hungry. Otherwise, I'll wait. I eat when I feel hungry. It's the healthier thing to do. And I do work from home with my business. So I do have that luxury of, eating when I am hungry. And yeah, then I usually start in on whatever creative endeavors I have for the day. But I have so much more to give to my creative endeavors because I have taken the time to slowly wake up, to nurture myself, and to get myself ready for the day ahead instead of rushing around, instead of putting too much pressure on myself, instead of ultimately caring for others, doing for others, and not doing anything for myself. We need our cups to be filled. We need to have that overflow of energy in order to actually give anything forward to anyone else. It's so important. And it's why I want to encourage all of you to do these things each day, whether it's 5 minutes that you just take for yourself in the morning or 5 minutes at night. Maybe you're going to journal out about some of your anxieties. Maybe in the morning, all you have time to do is have a dream journal next to your bed. Especially if you do want to get a clearer picture of your dreams, that's really a great way, is to actually actively have a dream journal next to your bed and journal as soon as you wake up before even getting out of bed. I used to do that a lot in my teenage years when I first started working with dream work and dream interpretation. It could just be that that's all you have time for, but you're taking that time to do something that is for you. And I want to emphasize, this is not selfish. I think so many people are told it's selfish to take care of yourself. It's selfish to spend this time doing something for you because, oh, don't you have other people in your life you could be taking care of? That, again, it's not selfish to care for yourself first, because you cannot appropriately care for someone else if you yourself are running yourself ragged, draining all of your energy, depleting yourself, and ultimately messing with your own health. You need to have something to pour from. That cup needs to be full and overflowing in order to pour from it, to give to others, to nurture others, to have that energetic exchange. You need to have that cup overflowing. And I want to normalize this for people, that it's not selfish. It's not you being lazy to take time to wake up and to do things that are nurturing and soothing to you. It's what you need to ready yourself for the day ahead. It's what you need to prepare yourself so that you can be the best mother, father, brother, sister, child even. Like, if you are an adult child taking care of ailing parents, that's the same thing. You need to make sure that you've cared for yourself first. So please take that time. It's so important. And I think the Ace of Cups is the perfect energy to be focusing on when you're doing this, because it is that overflow of joy, and it is encouraging you to do that work, to be kind to yourself. I'm just going to check my notes, see if there's anything else I haven't mentioned. Okay, so other ways to work with it is to literally work with water magic. If you wanted to just focus in on the archetype after you've gotten a lot of that, self-care energy and have overcome some of the stigma you might have against taking care of yourself first, then caring for others, working with water magic and working with chalices. You'll see in the thumbnail, I did take a picture with one of my favorite chalices, which I have over here with me. I took the thumbnail picture. This I actually got secondhand at a thrift shop. I paid $3 for this, which is kind of incredible. It is silver plated, and it's weighty, it's great. And I love using this during ritual when I'm having any sort of ritual wine or just I'm blessing water for ritual, I use this. So it's lovely, and it does, again, give me that energy that the Ace of Cups has, the Chalice energy, the power of water and the overflow of water. There's so much power in that. And because of the nature of the Cups suit, the Ace of Cups, besides being very emotional, is also very psychic. So any sort of psychic work you want to do, if you say I wanted to do water scrying, you could do it inside a chalice. I've done that. You could also do it inside other bigger bowls and things, which I do as well. This I like if I'm gonna actually be drinking the beverage, but if you're not gonna drink it, you can have it inside a bowl. That is absolutely fine. It gives you a bigger scrying surface. Even scrying mirrors can be used within water magic. I do that as well. But it's building that psychic connection because it's the new beginnings. It could be a new beginning in your psychic journey as well. Opening up your gifts more profoundly. And that's where we can kind of relate it to the court cards of the Cups suit. The Queen of Cups is incredibly psychic, and the King of Cups I consider to be the ultimate card of emotional maturity. He's been through it all, the heights of positive emotion and the depths of negative emotions, and rules with a great amount of compassion and empathy. But because he knows emotions so well, he cannot be emotionally manipulated. That is the true strength of the King of Cups, is that anyone who seeks to use emotions to manipulate others is not going to be able to penetrate into the King of Cups domain, which I love. And I think the Ace of Cups can represent this, that maybe you want to grow in emotional maturity. Maybe you want to see through any sort of emotional manipulation or deception someone is putting forth. The Ace of Cups energy, if you're beginning at that, is perfect because it's the Ace of Cups. It's the beginning of that energy. So yeah, that is everything I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Ace of Cups energy, and I wanted to talk about self-care and making sure your cup is overflowing. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and please, if you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the things, of course, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.